the next thing that was to follow was for you to put the question before the National Assembly for us to agree As a result, we went and voted. So obviously what should have followed was the assembly was divided, a was carried and not lost. So what we should delete now is the motion was lost on page 10, and the clerk read the subtitle of the bill and it was deemed to have been passed should come last. And then we are done with it. Thank you.
Yeah. You are right. And that's what I said. I said the motion was lost to go off because it's adequately been addressed on page 9. Yes, nomination of Dr. for.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the member for Sabasal will have a great recollection, but still I will refer you to page 9. Page 9, are we there? If you go to page 9, at the bottom, it says question put and agreed to. The bill be read the third time and passed. The clerk read the subtitle of the bill and it was deemed to have been what? Passed. So if he passed that stage now, already, what is this question put and agreed to referring to?
When the question was put, before we voted, the honorable member rose to a point of order and brought his motion. So at that point in time, the question was never put and answered and voted on, rather. So we went on and we voted on his motion. Then that motion was lost. After the motion was lost, of course, the vote was announced. Then the question was put and read by the clerk, and then we voted on the question, and the bill was passed. So therefore, page 9 is in order. Page 10, page 10 on top, the clerk read the subtitle should come down, should come below. I said the question put and read by the clerk should come down after the vote. Because it was after the vote was announced, then he read the subtitle for the final stages of the bill, and that was it.
Speaker.
Yes, Sabasanjan, can we proceed? You have something? Please use your mic.
Yes, you are right, but we should also delete the motion was lost.
Indeed, I did that. Deleted. I told you earlier on, the motion was lost, should be deleted because can we move to page 11, please? Page 11. Hold on. Page 11. Page 12. Oh, that's all. That's all. Honorable members, it has been moved and seconded that the record of votes and proceeding of the National Assembly sitting at Monday, 29 September 2025 be approved with amendment. Those in favor, please say aye. Honorable members, those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, you may proceed.
Motion.
There
Section
is a point of order by the member for Upper Salom. Lower Salom.
Lower Salom. Honorable Speaker, orders 81 in case where matters are not expressly provided by these standing orders. By standing order, any questions or procedure or orders shall decided by the Speaker. C says the precedents, customs or procedures, traditions and practice in the Assembly. Honorable Speaker, there is a precedent that we have seen here. The member for Latibuna Sabir, Honorable Yaya Sanya, has resigned from the United Democratic Party and is occupied and are on the independent list. We must be on that side of his term. Honorable Speaker, I submit.
Order, honorable members, order. Honorable members, order. Clerk. Order, honorable members, order. Order, honorable members, order. Honorable members, order. Once I get into the chambers, that was the first thing I observed myself and the clerk. But now that the honorable member for Lower Salom has raised the order, I'm going to sustain and direct that they move him now. Order, honorable members. Honorable members, order, please. Honorable members, order. The member for Sami, please take your seat. Honorable members, please order. And I hope our colleague, the members from Sabasanjal as well as Combo East will welcome their comrade, the member for Latikunda Savio. Thank you. Clerk, we may proceed.
Motion. Section 152(1) of the 1997 Constitution, as amended, and Orders 86(1) of the Standing Orders of the National Assembly, as laying of the estimate of revenue and expenditure of the Republic of the Gambia for the fiscal year 2026, beginning 1st January to 31st December 2026, both days inclusive, by the Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs.
Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs, please move to the podium.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker, members of the August Assembly. I rise before this August Assembly to discharge a fundamental constitutional mandate as prescribed by Section 152 of the 1997 Constitution, amended, and the Public Finance Act of 2014. It is my solemn duty to honor to hereby present for the diligent consideration and approval of this House the draft estimates of revenue and expenditure for the fiscal year 2026. The budget we present today is a strategic blueprint for our nation's progress and anchored in the theme, improving the well-being and quality of life of Gambians. This principle guides our three core objectives: to sustain macroeconomic stability through prudent fiscal policies, to deepen structural reforms for a resilient economy, and to strengthen public financial management for the efficient use of our national resources. Hence, investment in human capital sectors such as health, education, agriculture present a significant part of the budget. Our economy continues to demonstrate commendable resilience. In 2024, real GDP grew by 5.3%, and we project the growth to accelerate to 5.9%, or almost 6% in 2025, and stabilizing at a sustainable level of 5.5% in 2026. This growth trajectory is underpinned by strategic investment in infrastructure, a strong recovery in tourism, and stable performance in trade and finance. Our fiscal consolidating efforts are bearing fruits. The budget deficit for the 2026 is projected to be one of the lowest in the years. In fact, a mere look at it is that on the GLF part, we have a deficit of 0.3% of the GDP, and these represent the lowest deficit in the last 5 years. And for all funds, that is donor funds and GLF combined, the deficit is 1%, and is the lowest in the last 10 years. Honorable Speaker, a review of the 2025 budget implementation. As of August, budget execution stands at 61%, reflecting a strategic focus on expenditure containment. While spending on personnel emoluments and subsidies have been high, allocation for goods and services and capital expenditure have been prudently managed. Revenue performance has been mixed. Domestic revenue at 18.58 billion fell short of its target, primarily due to the underperformance of the non-tax revenue. However, the tax revenue outperformed expectations, reaching 16.55 billion, which is a surplus of 2.3 billion, or 16.3% above our projections, driven by robust collections from corporate goods and services and international trade taxes. For the remainder of 2025, we will maintain strict expenditure control to stay within the approved budget, even as we meet essential commitments on salaries, debt services, and subsidies. Honorable Speaker, the 2026 budget is built on a foundation of strong revenue performance over the recent years and will maintain the strict expenditure controls. We project total revenue and grants at 35.87 billion for the government local funds, which is an increase of 11.7%. This will be driven by a significant 28% growth in tax revenue to be achieved through enhanced compliance, digital solutions like electronic invoicing, the new IT-enabled rental income tax system, and the introduction of revenue assurance for telecom and fintech. Key policy adjustments will deepen compliance and reforms in the tax administration, which will leverage on digital technology. Total expenditure and net lending are projected at 36.49 billion, which is a 13% increase. And the key allocations include a 16.36 rise in personnel emoluments amounting to 10.29 billion, covering housing allowances, promotions, and an expanded workforce. B, a 24% increase in subsidies and transfers to 8.01 billion, primarily for the energy, infrastructure, and agriculture, and subvention to our health and education sectors. Necessary provisions for critical election-related expenditures and infrastructure-related projects. Debt service continues to attract a large portion, over 30% of our expenditure budget, amounting to 13.5 billion in 2026, from 11.07 billion in 2025, which is an increase of 22%. Combined allocation to human capital related expenditures, sectors of education, health, and agriculture amount to 10.82 billion, or 25% of the government local fund expenditure budget. And on this, we will highlight a significant shift towards our belief in investing in agriculture. Agriculture attract an increase of 84% in 2026. From 2025, having an allocation of 1.77 billion in 2026 budget from GLF. This is the largest allocation in the last 10 years, and our review of the budgets of the previous years indicated that this allocation is the largest for the government local funding, and it's a commitment of the government to invest in agriculture, our farming community, and develop our resilience in food security. We are accelerating public financial management reforms. Our transitions to program-based budgeting is expanding to 15 pilot MDAs. This ensures every dollar is linked to tangible outcomes in our recovery-focused national development plan, shifting our focus from what money is spent on to what it can achieve. A key challenge remains public debt servicing, which is projected to rise to 13.5 billion in 2026, as mentioned above. We also face risks from global volatility and climate change. Our response is unequivocal. We will adhere to a concessional borrowing plan, strengthen expenditure controls, and rationalize subvented agencies to ensure maximum efficiency and impact for every public resources. Our borrowing is measured, and we are only borrowing concessional funding. We are not borrowing from external funding based on market borrowings. In conclusion, Honorable Speaker, we say that the 2026 budget is a deliberate and strategic blueprint to consolidate our economic gains, invest in our people, and build a more resilient and prosperous Gambia. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I hereby formally lay upon the table of this August Assembly the draft estimates of revenue and expenditure for the fiscal year 2026, along with the accompanying appropriation bill. I commend these documents to the wisdom, consideration, and approval of the honorable members. I submit. Thank you very much.
Yes, but maybe that was, the occupation bill will be later, not now. Any seconder? Member for Lower Asylum?
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for that observations. I rise to second the motion.
Honorable members, the estimates of revenue and expenditure is an important document. This pivotal moment not only marks a significant event in the fiscal calendar, but also sets the course for the economic trajectory of our nation. It set out the macroeconomic variables of the country in relation to revenue and expenditure of the Gambia and the programs it intends to execute to improve the conditions of life of the citizens for the year under review. This is a momentous occasion, one that marks the continuation of our collective effort to ensure that the government's fiscal policies align with our aspirations as a nation. The annual budget is not merely a document. It is a roadmap to the future outlining how our nation will utilize its resources to achieve sustainable development, improve public services, and uplift the living standard of every Gambian. We are all aware that the global economic environment continues to present us with numerous challenges, from fluctuating commodity prices to the impacts of climate change. In light of these challenges, it is more important that ever that we approach our budget process with fiscal discipline, strategic planning, and a sense of urgency to address the most pressing needs of our people. Our budgetary decision must be driven by a commitment to enhance the quality of life for Gambians, reduce poverty, expand access to education and healthcare, create employment opportunities, and ensure that our infrastructure supports long-term economic growth. Honorable members, as we embark on reviewing and discussing the estimates presented by the Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs, let us do so with a depth of sense of accountability. It is therefore vital that we as lawmakers remain steadfast in our oversight role. Our duty is not only to scrutinize the allocation of resources, but also to ensure that these resources reach those who need them most, especially the most vulnerable among us. Honorable members, as we lay the groundwork for the 2026 fiscal year, let us remember that our shared goal is to create a Gambia where every citizen has the opportunity to thrive, where the government is accountable to the people, and where development is both inclusive and sustainable. In the spirit of transparency and accountability, I encourage all members of this Assembly to scrutinize the budget thoroughly, engage in constructive debate, and contribute their insight to ensure that the final budget reflects the collective wisdom of this Assembly. Cognizant of this reality and of the provision of Order 86, 6A and B of the Standing Orders, the sitting will be adjourned to give members adequate time to review the document. Honorable members, as per the approved agenda of this ordinary session, the Assembly Business Committee ABC has scheduled Wednesday, 19 and Thursday, 20th November 2025 for consideration and debate proper estimates, while the Committee of Supply would commence on Monday, 24th and Tuesday, 25th November 2025. Before putting the question, I want to announce for the general information of members that the pre-budget training retreat is scheduled for the period tomorrow, Saturday, 1st November to Tuesday, 4th November 2025 at Basse. Accordingly, all honorable members are urged to take note of the scheduled date for the retreat. The Office of the Clerk has sourced the services of various experts and technicians on budget analysis and training to help honorable members in their scrutiny role on the budget. Therefore, honorable members, it is important that we all attend this important retreat to enable us to truly scrutinize and digest this very important document. On that note, I now put that question. Be it resolved that this August Assembly do stand adjourned until Wednesday, 19 September 2025. Those in favor, please say aye. 19 November 2025. Those in favor, please say aye. Those not in favor, please say no. The ayes have it. This Assembly, order, honorable members. This Assembly now stand adjourned until Wednesday, 19 November 2025 at 10 a.m.